Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're back. We're back, baby. We're back for the live show. The last one we did, I was in Phoenix, Arizona with my bestie Presley. And then honestly, I just needed some time to myself getting back home after being on the road again. But I cannot believe, I think this is the longest time that I've been home in like a year and over a year. I'm not traveling again until the 20th of January. So like a month and a half, almost 2 months at home. So we're getting cozy. I'm in my house coat right now, as in my robe. I got my heated blanket under me, which is just lovely. And we are chilling. We're chilling. Okay, sorry, trying to figure out something with my CrossFit coach on this new system and app that we switched to, Coach RX, if anybody's familiar with it. It should have all my lifting metrics, but it doesn't. So we're trying to figure that out. But 'tis the season. We are in the holidays. We are in the thick of it. You can see my decor. I don't have the fireplace going quite yet. I would have to move my wreath, which I'm not willing to do until it gets too cold, where with the heated blanket, all is good. All is good in the world. So yeah, the last time we did one of these, I was with Presley. So we got to do some trips down memory lane with the two of our travel excursions, living in the world, traveling the world, almost getting kicked out of places in the world. It was a good time. But now I'm back home. I was there for Desert City Classic, and then right from there, I went to looks dark and dreary, pure Syracuse. What looks dark and dreary about this? My face is so bright that it's shiny right now. I've done my whole bedtime routine besides eating dinner and brush my teeth, but I've washed my face. I've done all of my skincare to my face. I'm warm. I'm showered. I'm cozy. What can be dark and dreary about that? I don't understand. I mean, maybe outside, yeah, because it gets dark at like 4 p.m. now, which is really hurting my tactical games training. It's really putting a stick in the mud for that, unfortunately. But potentially a new piece of equipment that could help me do that indoors. TBD on what that is. You'll have to stand by to hear about that. But we went to Tactical Games Nationals, which was a ton of fun. Like, seriously, if you guys still haven't gotten on that bandwagon, you're missing out. I am officially competing. Oh, maybe I put too much lotion on. No, my neck is peeling. Okay, we're gonna have to exfoliate after this. Apparently, our skincare routine is not done for the night. But so Tactical Games Nationals was a ton of fun. I am officially doing a team event with one of the owners, Amanda Thayer now, who I'm actually going to interview her and her husband, Nick, the two co-owners of Tactical Games, on Friday. That will come out in 2 weeks. On Monday, I did an interview, or on Monday, I will release the interview that I did with Simply Mander, is who she is on Instagram. That's how we're going to address her during the whole show. And she's a Black Iron nutritionist. She does programming. She's been in the CrossFit space for 10 years. She's an influencer, content creator, etc., etc. So that's going to be a really fun interview that comes out on Monday. But I am now officially training to compete in a team event in Texas, and I'm so pumped. Oi, Patrick, tall Patrick. I actually didn't know that that was your name on here. I'm glad to see that you're still awake. I know it's rather late for you on the other side of the world right now, so we appreciate you being here. But Jacob Hepner, if you're in the CrossFit space, that's probably how you are finding this channel, or I guess at this point Tactical Games too. But Jacob Hepner, old CrossFit Games athlete, He's not old, but like if you're an OG, you'll remember him. He doesn't really fit the OG timeline, but if you're just joined CrossFit within the last like 5-6 years, he might be an OG to you. He went three-peat. So 3 years in a row, he was the national champion at tactical games. The Pew Pew games. Yes, exactly. Precisely. Janae DeCawson, hi Saber, he's got a ball. She was also last year's champion. So she has done a two-peat. She used to train out of Mayhem and has a strong CrossFit background as well. Has been in the shooting space, I think, since 2021 is when she did her first tactical games competition. And yeah, it was just a really good weekend. They had their final event that was under the lights. They had a biathlon, which I think for anybody could be really fun. So it was an 800-meter run, and then they had to go hit their targets. And for every target that they missed, it was 5 pistol, 5 rifle. For everyone that they missed, they had a 11, I think it was 11 calorie, because it was a weird number. Yeah, 11 calorie penalty. So that was really interesting to see how that would play out. But overall, it was a really great weekend. I then stayed in like the Austin, Texas area. I would say it's like an hour outside of Austin. Georgetown is like the town that I was staying in. And hi, Noelle. It was so much fun to stay and hang out with them and train at HQ. Because then I was covering a Green Beret celebrity charity event. Like through the Special Forces Charitable Trust was the name of the organization. And essentially they would team Green Berets up with celebrities. So anywhere from, former NFL players, a lot of like former MMA athletes, some country music artists. So that was really cool because I love country music. And it was just a really fun event, like really good energy. So that's what I did. So I was on the road for 2.5 weeks, now home through the new year, through almost Wadapalooza. I'll actually be going from Vegas for SHOT Show. So it's essentially a like gun hunting bow convention in Vegas, like the biggest one in the country. From there, taking a red eye straight to Miami for Wadapalooza. So once the new year starts, we're going to get a little bit crazy with traveling and being on the road again. But all in all, some really fun events to close out 2024, and 2025 is already getting planned and getting in the works. So I'm really excited for that. You might be wondering, what the heck is with the name of the show? And it kind of came from a video that you might see on my Instagram story right now. Bruises on your boobs. And you know what? I thought that it was just ladies, but I had a few men DM me and say, hey, it's not just the women that this happens to. If you're a little bit thick, like a thick boy, this could happen to you too. But so essentially what happens, or what used to happen when I wasn't as efficient at my bar muscle ups, is I would get over and I would catch really low. So what it would do, the bar would like pinch a piece of my boob or your under boob, whatever you want to call it, and it would pinch it through every single rep until I could actually like turn over, press up. So I would have these terrifying bruises on my under boobs after bar muscle up day. And today, for like the first time ever, I didn't have those bruises there. Instead, they're in like my mid stomach. So it was literal evidence showing that I was catching my bar muscle ups higher. So I'm really happy for that. Some progress that has finally been able to happen. So cheers to that. I've been working with my coach a lot on chest to bar progressions. So not even bar muscle up progressions, just chest to bar. And there's been a lot of payout for that. So it's good. Just be grateful you're able to do bar muscle ups. Patrick, you can get yourself some bands. I know that you can move. I know that you have it in you. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm really upset that we won't have our yearly get together this weekend. Yeah, at Fit Fest. I won't be going, which I'm super bummed about. But Fit Fest and the Dubai Fitness Championship, both happening this weekend. So two, what I would say, major CrossFit events for the elites are going to be happening this weekend. Both very different competitions, but both equally as exciting. And I saw Lucy Campbell is going to be on the broadcast for DFC. So I think that's really exciting too. I loved listening to her. Was it during semifinals? Yeah, during semifinals in Europe. She's excellent, super knowledgeable, and will be a great addition to that team. I don't know what kind of coverage they're doing for FitFest. I know last year that it was just all pre-produced stuff, or pre-produced as in like not live. Because I was on their team helping out with some like social media content. I don't know if they plan to go live. I haven't seen anything. So TBD on how or if we will be able to watch that. But yeah, two major events going on. Um, let me look at who do we got on each. So FitFest is Europe versus the world. One's a comp, one's an expo. Yeah, that's a good way to describe the difference, but they're also a completely different format. Like one's team, like two teams. Didn't they have 3 teams last year? They did. So now these are, but was it 3 8-person teams or 6? I can't even remember. But so on the teams, let's see. We have on Team Europe, BKG, Sarah Sigmund's daughter. That's really exciting because we haven't seen her compete. I'm trying to think of the last time we saw her. In my brain, it was semifinals, not this past year, but 2 years ago. I know she's done like some other competitions in person, maybe out in the UAE or Europe. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to fact check myself. But so BKG, Sarah Sigmund's daughter, Amy Kringle, Enyola Kai, Ella Wilkinson, Emma McQuaid, Harry Lightfoot, Yella Hosta, Yona Koski, and Lucy McGonigal. And then on team rest of the world, yes, that's what they've labeled it as. Ariel Lowen, Abby Domit, Jason Hopper, Colton Mertens, Emily Rolfe, Fee Sagafi, Nick Matthews, Dalen Pepper, Sam Dancer, and Shelby Neal. Sam Dancer just did like a ultra marathon or something like that. That dude's an animal. I saw him in person at Desert City Classic and caught up with him. And and these videos of him trying to make high protein not coffee, chocolate is very entertaining. Just like a good human. I mean, the whole list of the rosters are a bunch of really, really great humans. So I hope that there is some way that we can watch, or like I'm actually okay if they do like highlight videos, because I know last year like their reasoning for not live streaming was because they really wanted to invest their resources into activating on site and to get people there, which I totally understand and appreciate. But Iron Man, that's what he did. Thank you, Patrick. The reality is that like if you want to get like a lot of the US audience, most probably aren't going to travel that far, but it was really awesome to see like how much of the like European fan base came out, and how interactive they were able to be with the athletes. I would say that's probably the another really big difference between FitFest and Dubai. Is like Dubai is more like similar to, if you go to Rogue, you'll be able to see the athletes like come off the field, but you're not really going to have time to like do activations and interact with them. Whereas a spectator, if you're at like Wadapalooza SoCal, great example. Not even so much Wadapalooza Miami. Maybe this year. I don't know. It's such a different format, but you'll have more opportunity to do meet and greets and things like that. So you get a really cool, unique experience with like face-to-face time with the athletes, and being able to activate in person with their brands, I think is something that's super healthy and really cool to see. And then DFC. Let's see. Dubai Fitness Championship. Oh man. It's always because it says CrossFit, it's no longer that. A fitness Apparently I need 2 hands to type this. Oh my God, what is happening with my browser? It'll be interesting to see how many people go to FitFest this year, because it's only a month after Rogue, which was packed out. Yeah, that's actually a good point that I didn't even think of. I do wonder, yeah, because Rogue was so well attended. There we go. Sorry. I was super bummed that I wasn't able to go this year because that was the same weekend as Desert City Classic. But wait, is this? Oh man, why is it so hard to find? There, I think Dubai Fitness Championship online qualifiers. That's not the leaderboard though. Oh, but yeah, because not everybody qualified. Okay, but okay, I'm just on their Instagram. Jamie Simmons, Luka Jukic, Julia Cato, Karen Frey. Pretty sure she won it last year. Spencer Panchik, saw that. Emily DeRoy, Brittany Weiss, Ben Fowler. So there's like a good list of athletes that are going. Oh, Jake Douglas. I actually didn't know that he was competing at Dubai. Yeah, so if you go on their Instagram, that's probably the easiest way to see who is going to Dubai. But good point by Patrick. I wonder how many spectators are going to come out from Dubai. Historically, it hasn't been a super well attended event, but I'm pretty sure their live stream gets pretty good numbers. Or I'm sorry, you were talking about FitFest. FitFest was well attended, might not be because of Rogue happening just a month prior. Dubai, totally different scenario, different location, obviously in Dubai in the UAE. But 2 major events happening, and that will close out the year for CrossFit competitions or fitness competitions. I don't know what is the right or wrong way to call them, so we'll just err on the side of caution and call them fitness competitions. Even though, you know what they are, even if they don't have the brand or the title. And then the next one will be Wodapalooza, or the next major one will be Wodapalooza, which I haven't even looked into like who's going to that yet, but it should be fun. Some of the teams have been revealed already, which is really exciting. It's always fun to see, when I know PB&J isn't competing together, but like when the costumes come out or the team names come out and like the fun banter behind the scenes with some of those teams. So that is always a lot of fun. I was just actually speaking with Nicole from Hairstrong. So like the brand of the scrunchies that I always wear, and she was talking about going and how she's going to team up with this girl Brittany. She runs Braid Bar. If you have hair, whether you're a man, woman, whatever, if you want a wig, she does spectacular braids, and she can put like tinsel in them, color in them, little gems. So she's going to be out at Wodapalooza too, and the two of them are going to be doing like some fun collab things, which will be really exciting. So I love both of them. Super kind people, great small businesses that I love supporting. If you can and feel empowered to, you should support them too. And I mean, it's always fun to have your hair braided. Mine would have stayed in. I think I had it in for 4 straight days. And honestly, like it would have stayed in 2 weeks if I just left it. And I'm trying to like shampoo in between, which by the way, I do have a hair appointment tomorrow. Look how brown. So if you thought that I was a natural blonde, well, first of all, like, how would you have thought that? But I'm not, because you can see how thick my roots are right now. Interesting question. Have you ever thought about leaving TEF and going out on your own? Honestly, no, because I'm able to do both. Like I team up with Sean and Tommy to do the weekly podcast, and we cover what is my stripe? Sorry, I just got a notification of a payment that went through on my phone, and I'm like, I don't remember doing that, but I think that I actually got paid. Unsure. We're going to look into that afterwards. I'm not going to spiral during the show. I'm going to turn my phone the other way so I don't get so easily distracted. So to my point, right now I'm able to do both and it works. I feel like I'm able to, and maybe I'm wrong. I would like feedback if you guys think that I'm wrong, but I'm able to kind of keep both things in separate buckets. Where Sean and Tommy, we talk about really high level CrossFit. We have CrossFit guests on, which I suppose like I could absolutely do that on my own. Um, but we talk like very sport specific and like the health and the ecosystem of CrossFit. And for anybody who is a fan of Death By, that is coming back. I know we haven't communicated it and haven't communicated it well. The whole reason why it hasn't come back since the games is because I'm in the middle of a rebrand with a graphics guy. He got sick, he had some family emergencies, so it's been super delayed. Once I get a timeline on that, I'll communicate like when the show will revamp. We might have like a mix of new guests and it's going to be really fun. It's going to be called The Cut Line. So TBD on that. But anyway, so me, Sean, and Tommy, we do the weekly YouTube podcast and then like have our Q&As on Friday together. And then we will, like, for instance, we'll be doing stuff at like Wadapalooza together. We normally do stuff at like the games together or Rogue. So like the big CrossFit competitions. Um, and that's kind of how the structure is right now. For me, I'm able to like cover these other like mid to lower level competitions independently. And for that, I like team my independent self up with the organization. So for example, like when I go and I work like Desert City or Monster Games, I'm hired specifically by the event. So I'm not outside media. I'm working for the event. Where if I was going to like the Rogue Invitational, and it's different if you're hired and on the broadcast. But when I work for TEF, we work as our own like independent outside media, if that makes sense. Um, so it just kind of works that way right now. And then of course, like we're hired independently, like I said, if we work Rogue or the games. And through my own brand, I'm also looking to diversify a bit. So you'll see like this is now my second year doing tactical games. So kind of in like the shooting sport industry. And with going to SHOT Show, I'm hired by Under Armour, and like that could open up some new doors to new opportunities and new sports and that whole ecosystem. And I got hired by a PGA event under my own brand. So to me, they're very different, even though like there's some crossover because I'm like so heavily in the CrossFit space too. So I know that that was like a really long-winded answer, but I don't know if you have any follow-up questions to what I just said. Why the change away from Death By? So originally it just felt like it kind of felt icky after everything that happened at the games to call a show Death By. So originally I was like, I just personally don't feel comfortable doing a show with like that name anymore. Obviously, as the more time that went by, I don't want to say it didn't feel like a big deal because I'm not trying to dilute like what happened. I'm just saying like the name change didn't seem like as urgent for those reasons. But at that point I was like, you know what? This could be a good opportunity to rebrand and give the show a bit of like a graphical upgrade, a little bit of a facelift, if you will. So that was kind of the reason for that. And I wasn't anticipating that it would take this long, but you know, maybe by the new year. Definitely by the new year. Like I actually let me put that on my to-do list. I need to follow up with him tomorrow again. Which he did communicate that he had like some family things going on and whatnot. Um, but yeah, so that is the reasoning for that. And yeah, we'll see. I've communicated with the guests that we're obviously like on pause, but I know we haven't been really good at communicating to the rest of everybody. Hey, what are we doing? Where's Death By? I know there's been a ton of like timely topics that would have made great episodes. But, you know, a little bit of break was probably good for everybody too. I ask a lot from those guests to have them on a rotation of bi-weekly, and they offer up their time, and I'm super grateful for that. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoy doing the show. I think that it's fostered a lot of productive conversations, and it's raised some really good ideas. So I'm happy to provide that again because I I really enjoy being in roles where I can facilitate conversation and where I can, actively listen to somebody and think of a good follow-up question and try to like pull deeper conversations out of people. So that's something that I definitely miss as a host as well. Do I get an invite to the cut line? Patrick, it wouldn't be at a time that's appropriate for you. You'd be in bed. I'm just kidding. Maybe we'll see if you're are you going to bring your sass? I know you're going to bring your sass. There just needs to be a balance of like the positivity with the negativity. Or if you're going to be negative, you have to offer a solution. That's like my caveat. I'm okay with people that complain about things, but you got to offer me a solution. You can't just complain. And Patrick, I know I can say that to you because we're friends. What happened with the accidental Katrin retirement announcement? Yeah, so unfortunately, and this was a good lesson. And you know what? I learned this lesson in college and I should have just like stuck with it. Is every time you're wearing a mic, you should treat it as like everybody can hear that conversation. When your mic is hot, your mic is hot. So even if they say you're on commercial break, you're not. You could not be. It could go over the airwaves. And essentially what we were doing is we were recording our episode. And if you've noticed in the past couple of months, we now like break our episode into like 3 segments. We'll post on YouTube like highlights, or I'm sorry, headlines, and then we'll post the athlete interview, and then we'll post like whatever the conversation is that we're having. So in the middle of those 2 segments, when we were like on pause, um Tommy had just like remembered the conversation he had, and then it was me just like casually like talking about it. So and then Sean just forgot to edit that section out. So that's why it was accidental, because none of us thought that that was going to be posted. And I feel bad for Sean because he's the one that edits it and he felt super bad. But I mean, I've made editing mistakes before too. So the onus is on all of us. Like, we should have just saved that conversation for when we weren't recording. Unfortunately, it got out there. Luckily, I spoke with O'Keefe and the HWPO team, and they know that it wasn't like ill will, and we apologized. And you know, unfortunately, that's just what happened. But I saw that she officially announced it and her video was freaking dope. So if you haven't seen it, go to Katrin's uh Instagram and go see it. Cut line is Lauren's dating swipes. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, no, I think that we're gonna just like pause. The dating apps are dead. They're dead. I said the other day on something, I was like, oh, yeah, when I was talking about, like, the night before Thanksgiving, do people still go out and, like, rally? Is that the biggest drinking night of the year? Or is that tradition dead like my dating life? And that's truly what I mean. Like I said, what time is it? It is 5:57 Eastern. I mean, granted, it's a Wednesday, but I've already done my skincare routine. I'm in my robe. I've bathed myself. I'm sipping on some electrolytes and ice and my big old Yeti. And we ain't swiping. We are not doing that. A man is going to find me or I will find him in the wild. I'm not doing these dating apps anymore. I just can't. I can't anymore. It's just like, I don't know why everybody wants a pen pal. Why do you want to message me all day long and then I initiate like, hey, we should meet in person, and then they disregard it and keep texting? Do you have nothing? Like, it blows my mind at the amount of time people have during a day to like carry on full conversations, but then don't want to meet in real life. It's very strange. Very, very, very strange. So that is that. So we done. We're not doing live swiping on the show anymore because there's nothing to swipe, to be quite honest. I also like the interaction with the guests on Death By, which will now be the cut line. And that's what I try to do. I know that, welcome to the live show where we go in so many different directions. What I really have tried to do is when I'm developing, or when I develop like the roster, I tried to think of like guests from different departments. So like a guest that works closely with CrossFit HQ, a guest that is like an agent or a coach, a guest that's a coach, a guest that is like in some other kind of vein, maybe the media vein, which really has brought a lot of like diverse thinking and I don't even want to say arguments because everybody's very amicable and respectable on my show. Otherwise, they wouldn't be invited back or invited at all if I knew that they were going to behave that way. But yeah, like some really good conversations has happened between guests on the show. Ortega is here. Welcome. Welcome to the circus. Full of cheer as always. You offer solutions. You do, Patrick. Um, what if I hit the LinkedIn DM? I mean, I don't really check LinkedIn that often, but honestly, I might. I might. Oh, and the LinkedIn boy is moving. But whatever. He wasn't even a thought after he ignored me. So whatever. Don't ask me for my number, have me text you and then ignore me. That's like now you're wasting everybody's time. I digress. Um who's that one athlete who you'd go out on a date with? Oh, that is such a great question, but I am not going to reveal that. There is somebody, but I won't reveal that because they may or may not be in a relationship and I am not a home wrecker. Not that they're married. Okay, now we are going to exit this conversation before I put myself in a corner. Next question. A guest that worked event logistics. Oh, like that could be you, Patrick. That could be you. Anyways, how is everybody? What's a good tradition that people are going to do for Christmas? Real tree or fake tree? That's a good little debate that we could have. I would love to have a real tree, but my dogs drink the water. So we got to have a fake tree. I don't have the tree up right now because actually I don't really have an excuse. My home is currently decorated by my aunt who was here before I got home from Texas. So at that point I was like, oh, well, it's mostly decorated for Christmas. And I go to my parents for Christmas or my sisters and they have everything decked out for Christmas. So that's like my intake of Christmas. But it would be nice to maybe sit here and have a nice Christmas tree. I do have a bunch of other Christmas lights though. I'm in the middle of watching Yellowstone. Guys, if you have not seen this, I maybe like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I don't remember at this point how long it's been out. But I tried to watch Yellowstone. I got like 2 episodes into it and then I was like, I don't think this is for me. Well, full circle because the new season has come out. I've now been convinced to go back and watch it. And now I'm at season 3 and I really, really like it. So what room? Barbell spin. Hello, Brian. What rumors have you heard about the 2025 game season or alternate leagues? You see how big my hair and my ponytail are? That's where all of the rumors and secrets are going to live. They're going to live right in there until the sources themselves want to reveal the deets. I ain't spilling anybody's tea that's not mine on this show. I will happily spill all of my own tea. I don't care. You ask me questions about my life, except for what athlete I might be interested in. That I will not reveal on here. But I would say pretty much I'm an open book about my own life. About other people's lives, though, yeah, that's not my journey. Not anymore. Here for a good time, not a long time. But great question. I ain't gonna reveal that here. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. Honestly, like from what I know and what I've heard, and even with everything that's happening right now, it's really easy to focus on all of the negative and all of the bad. But from what I have heard, I think that there are a couple of different silver linings that everybody will be able to find regardless of like who you work for or what you do or the decision you make. Um Change hurts, change sucks, but I think that some good could come out of 2025 and I'm really interested to see how things do play out. Ooh, an eggnog recipe. I actually haven't had I've only had eggnog once. It kind of creeped me out because it's like is it raw egg? I actually don't even know the ingredients, but something about it just like weirded me out. But I did have eggnog for the first time maybe 2 years ago at my aunt's house on Christmas Eve, and it was like Christmas in a cup. Like It's like sweet and cinnamony, and I'm here for that. Will Morad has something cooking. Well, yeah, that I mean is public because of what the Instagram says. So something is cooking, of course. I mean, they've breadcrumb. They're breadcrumbing, but not the bad kind. Normally when I refer to breadcrumbing, I'm like, we don't like to be breadcrumbed. We want the entire loaf. Give me the entire sourdough loaf, please, with some Kerrygold butter, and we are a happy girl. Maybe, if you're feeling, I don't know who grew up on this, but toast with cinnamon sugar and butter. Oh my God, that's how my parents were sending me off to school every single day, or a toaster strudel. Nutrition was not something that I grew up on. What's on your Christmas list? Oh man. Anything staccato and Ortega. I know you know what I'm talking about. I was looking at some Daniel Defense things. I was like I said, I'm competing in tactical games in 2025. Right now, I have some of my own stuff, but I mostly borrow things. I need to set up my own equipment um for before I compete. The challenging thing is living in New York and with like certain things. Yeah. So I have a lot of that kind of stuff on my list that I'm looking into. Can't out rumors if you want to also get creds. I don't care about getting the credit. Like, that's not why I do this. To me, like getting into journalism was because I really enjoy having human conversations and I enjoy like getting to know people on a deeper level. And if somebody posts something that I knew about earlier, okay, so I knew it. The way that I feel like empowered, I guess, is like this person trusted me with this information and I didn't leak it, and that's really valuable. And it's also like it's not valuable to just like have the information and sit on it, but it gets you like thinking in other ways and it can get you searching in other directions. That has always been helpful to me. So I don't care about getting the credit. Like that's not why I do this. Is Pew Pew buying hard in New York State? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, no, I mean credentials at events. What do you mean? Can't out rumors if correct. Yeah, like event organizers, if you out like a piece of information that they wanted to like be the person to out, then yeah, they ain't gonna give you credentials. And like to me, like the Katrin thing was so disappointing was because that was her moment to shine. Like that was her like big moment to reveal. So it like I will never forget. I was on a bus with green berets going to this charity event and I get a text message from Sean and Tommy like saying what happened, and literally like the pit in my stomach, I truthfully felt like I was going to throw up because I felt so bad and I felt so helpless in the moment, and like that really sucks, and you never want to lose somebody's trust. And like I've met Kat in person and she's lovely, and like I just hurt for her. It just sucked. I don't know how else to explain it. And then of course, like I'm frantically texting Presley because, I mentioned how like her and I were talking about it. So then I feel like, oh my God, my best friend thinks that like I'm outing her. So it just was bad day. Bad day. Reference your reference your night before Thanksgiving. It is one of the busiest nights of the year for police officers. Oops. The young kids call it Blackout Wednesday. Jordan, Blackout Wednesday. Oh God. Oh God. I was blessed that okay, so fun fact, I used to be a party animal. I started drinking at the age of like 14 or 15. And it wasn't even like that crazy then in high school because like it was only like Fridays and Saturdays where then, well, I did get really, really drunk in high school on those Fridays and Saturdays. But anyways, it carried through college. And then it was like several days. And that's really why I don't drink anymore, because I lived those party days that I just like don't want to do them anymore. And I don't like how I feel from alcohol, to be totally honest. But my body will not let me black out. It will remind me of everything the next day, full conversations. What happens first is I throw up. Like I I have blacked out maybe once, fully once, and it was from a alcohol infused whipped cream. So me and my best friend Julia, I freaking love her. I love her to this day. She lives in New York City. It's so sad. It was at my parents' house and I was throwing a party in my parents' basement. They had a door that would lead outside, which parents, and like I know if I ever have kids, I will never have a basement that has a door that leads outside because I snuck people in the house all the time. Like I was throwing the parties at my parents' house. And God bless them for being, I mean, I was grounded most of my life too. So they were like half oblivious and half like I just, lived in detention in my bedroom my whole life. Um, so we were like sneaking people through the basement, but then we didn't want anybody else to have this whipped cream. So like I had it upstairs, like 2 levels up. So basement, middle floor, bedrooms at the top floor. We had this whipped cream infused alcohol infused whipped cream. And the two of us finished the whole can. And obviously we weren't reading the alcohol contents. We're just like, oh, whipped cream with alcohol. It's so good. Like now you don't need to like have a full belly and eat it. Well, it still is going to get you very, very drunk. And I remember being hungover until like 7 p.m. the next day. And my mom and dad just banging pots and pans in the living room, just trying to harass me or in the kitchen. And I just was so, so deathly ill that it was not fun. It was not fun. Oh, hey, Sean is not on early retirement announcements. Sean is amazing. He is one of the most genuine, kind, humble people I've ever met. And honestly, like when we're talking about humble and not having your ego first, that is very rare in this ecosystem. Very rare. Very rare. So the fact that I can work with Sean and Tommy who don't have egos, like, God bless. God bless, because we ain't got time for that. At least it wasn't whippets. What is whippets? I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Whippets. Uh Oh, the second part of speaking of like food and alcohol and all these things, the second part of like the name of this live, I don't even know what it's called. I have to go back for reference. Boob bruises and snatched jaw, something like that. So I've lost a bit of weight over the past couple of months, and I was at over and out. Good night. Good night, Patrick. Have a lovely sleep. We'll talk to you soon. Um, Great dude, especially on hosts and play-by-play types. Yeah. He's amazing. I mean, his voice, jealous. But anyway, so I've lost a bit of weight and I was at my friend's house it was when the Bills played the Dolphins. One of my friends hosts a party every year when those two teams face off. And one of my girlfriends comes over to me and she goes, "Oh, your chin and face are looking so snatched. Did you have work done?" And I look at her and I was like, did I have work done? You think that I had like a facelift or something? No. Like I just am no longer eating Ben and Jerry's regularly. So like my jawline is back. And it's funny because it was a content creator. I mean, I knew that I was getting a little bit thicker than, we were transitioning from like the 3 C's on thick to like 1 C and a K. And we knew this was happening and we were trying to dial it in, but we make excuses, life and I'm traveling and routine is hard and like the fitnessing part wasn't hard, but like the nutrition is always the hard part for me. And so one of my content creator friends sent me a picture of my side profile and I had no more chin. Like my chin and jawline, which is something I've been very proud of for my whole life. It's always been like very angular. We'll use that. I think that that's what you would call it. And I no longer had that. So I was like, you know what? We really got to lock it in. We really need to like get into a routine. And I have a nutrition coach, but I mean, you're not always honest with your nutrition coach. I'm not honest and logging when I'm eating Ben and Jerry's while I'm watching Yellowstone at the end of the night. Like it just, for whatever reason, like I'm in my fitness pal and I'm like, yeah, like I had eggs and broccoli and all these great things for breakfast and then my protein shake and all my supplements and then lunch, chicken and rice or maybe like some sourdough bread with Kerrygold butter and like logging all of the things perfect and then capping the night off with Ben and Jerry's. We don't log that. So Ben and Jerry, they've been cut out of my life, at least for now, because now I'm on this journey. I feel much better. I feel like I'm at like a weight that also like helps me perform better in the gym. So we feeling good. Who calls it snatched? LOL. I thought you meant when a barbell comes close. Oh, no. Oh my God. And snatched jaws. That's really funny. I didn't even think of it like that. I do have a scar under my chin. I don't know if you can see it. You'd have to like really zoom in. Um, but no, no, no. I was talking about like, oh, my chin. Yeah, like look at the shadow that you can see. And so I really like the picture that's the cover photo of this because I was like, "Oh yeah, like look at the jawline. That's not even from makeup. Like that's just, losing a couple lbs." So I go from strong chin to chins. Yeah, me too. Me too. I just like truthfully, I love food and I love like going out to restaurants and like trying new foods. Um so yeah, I think that there's a balance right now. I'm not giving myself a ton of balance with that because like I give myself the balance on the holidays knowing that we're kind of in the thick of that season. But yeah, I've really just dialed it in and I'm really consistent with tracking and I'm really consistent with going to the gym, which again, like that part is not really the hard part. I would say on the road though. When I was in my last two trips, the first one I was staying with Presley, so that was really easy to go work out because she's a member of an affiliate and I'm like staying in a home and we can carpool and go together. And then I was staying with the owners of Tactical Games for the next one and they have their own HQ, which is it's obviously not like a CrossFit affiliate, but has like all of the things that you would have at a CrossFit gym. So I would go to the gym in the morning when Amanda, one of the owners, would have PT clients at HQ, and I would do my programming or I would do a class with them. So that made it a little bit easier. Do you do specific macros or what? Yes. I would say like right now I'm kind of just like at the same trying to hit like the same macros where depending on like the time of the season or like if I'm about to compete in something, then I would change up my macros and I would give myself like more carbs. That's normally like where things fluctuate. I don't fluctuate with my fats a ton because this is going to be TMI for the guys, but it does like affect my hormones and my menstrual cycle when I fluctuate with those too much. So normally me and my nutrition coach focus more on like either upping the carbs or lowering the carbs and then kind of living where the fats are, maybe going up a little bit, but normally not coming down for a certain point. But yeah, that's kind of what it is for me. Having a kitchen on the road is huge. Oh, yeah, like staying with people. Yeah, because then when you're staying in a hotel, most of them don't have a kitchenette. You might have a refrigerator and a microwave, but you know how much and maybe this sounds like, yeah, I'm like making excuses in my head. Yeah, there are like little things that you can do. And I'm really trying to team up with more like meal prep services on the road. Like, oh, what was it? What was the one? There was one that I teamed up with when I was in Arizona at Desert City Classics that was phenomenal. Like these meals were so freaking good, but they're in the Phoenix area. Like, oh, I hate when you have like a really good meal prep company that you would love to work with regularly, or like, hey, you can be my meal prep company when I'm on the road and I'll just send you like the dates and the locations of where you can ship food. But like a lot of them really are just like regionally or specific to a location. Oh, interesting. That dumps testosterone too in dudes if you go too low for too long. Yeah. So yeah, men and women upping or lowering your fats can have hormonal changes. Um, and I've been, on and off working with nutritionists since God, when did I start CrossFit? In like 2016. So I've done them all. I've done paleo or most of them. I've done paleo. I've done what was it? Block. Block? Is that the one that like in CrossFit's L1? I don't think it's block. Maybe somebody can correct me. I can like see the paper, like the sheet of paper in my head, but yeah, I've done that one. I haven't done intermittent fasting because specifically for women, that will also kind of mess up your hormones. So that never really interested me. Um, I haven't done carnivore. I haven't done keto. Yeah, and then just like macro tracking. I try to eat for the most part like a well-balanced meal and like high protein, or like I would say it's considered high for somebody who is like not in this space. Like when I look at like my family, like my mom or my sister's vegetarian. She's just always been that way. She just doesn't like the taste of meat. So she gets really ticked off when they create like the impossible burger. And she's like, no, like I want a veggie patty because it doesn't taste like meat. So she's like one of the oddballs. Or, I mean, a lot of people are like that now. So I guess it's not as odd, but growing up, whatever, she never liked meat. And if she were to like actually track her amount of protein that she eats in a day, I mean, it's got to be so low. But I mean, good for her. She just started the gym since before she had kids. She's doing like boot camp that's like 2 miles from her house. She's going regularly. She's really enjoying it. Blocks was Zone. That's what it was. Thank you. Just harder macro tracking, to be honest. Honestly, it just like it felt a little too like loose and not as exact, but in some ways more complicated, or especially with like fitness trackers. And I'm sure there's other ones out there. I've just always used my Fitness Pal. It just makes it so easy. And even like with being able to scan barcodes and log it in and having like a very precise and specific number that you're looking to hit. And, it's okay if you go above or below like 5 grams. That's kind of like the benchmark that like I would recommend or nutritionists have recommended to me. It just like makes it a lot easier. I know a lot of people that don't track, and I think Danielle Brandon is one of them that she doesn't track through her nutrition program. For me, it gives me more control. If I don't track, that's when like the wheels tend to come off. Things get a little crazy. So, I enjoy tracking. I mean, I have phases. Like on Thanksgiving, I obviously didn't track. Like I ate my normal breakfast. Um, and then that was it because like we had appetizers starting at like 11, or not 11, at like 1, and then dinner by 4. Hot take, I don't really like Thanksgiving food though. Like, ugh. I rather have a nice steak, or like on Christmas Eve we have lasagna, and I freaking love lasagna. Like a good lasagna can go a long way. Big fan. Big fan. Also, like if I was part of an Italian family, which I'm not because I'm not Italian, the like seafood, I think they do it either on Christmas or Christmas Eve. I could totally get down with that. But yeah, turkey, and like my brother-in-law makes it fine. He does 2 in the smoker and 1 in the oven. 2 in the smoker, 1 fries, something like that. And it's not that they're like dry. I just don't like it. Just a little cheese here won't hurt. It's funny you say that because my nephew, who's in preschool, which ironically enough, one of my really, really good friends is his pre-K teacher. So I get regular updates. Which surprisingly, even though he can like be a little shit like to his family, he's an angel in school. And I love him. He's always an angel to me. Well, 99% of the time. Love him to death. Colton. And so the teacher had them make this Thanksgiving book, and I forget like what the title was or what they had to do, but basically like, how do you prepare your turkey? And my nephew goes, first I go out in the woods with my dad with, I think he said, a bow and arrow, and I hunt the turkey. I shoot the turkey. I bring it back. I cook the turkey for 13 hours at 31 degrees. And then I eat the turkey with a little bit of cheese. I'm just like, first of all, like, yes, my brother-in-law hunts, but he doesn't hunt the turkey. Like, we get our turkey from the grocery store. So it's just like funny the things that a 4-year-old associates with like the process of different things. Um, so that was really funny. But yeah. He had oh no, I'm thinking of that was um a Halloween parade at school that was really fun to go to, and his whole class like dressed up, the whole elementary school dressed up, and the teachers like walked him across the stage, and that was really fun. And then his teacher, who again I'm friends with, um, um, things get buried so quickly in here. Oh, he texted me this morning and goes, "I'm not sure if your sister or brother-in-law are coming to our holiday party at school," which my sister's definitely going to. I don't know how many people from the family are invited. But you're more than welcome to come with Colton. And I asked when it was, and it's on my birthday. So I hope that they get an extra ticket so that I can go and be part of the little Christmas parade. That would be so much fun. And I love, that age. They're so fun because they just want to play with you and they like tell you exactly how it is and they're just a good time. Yes, I do offer nutrition coaching, but like coaches need coaches. So here I am. I do offer it. I would say I like mostly in person because then like you can have more human interaction. Um, and actually like see the person. And I've also like from personal experience, it's like harder to lie to your nutrition coach when they're in person with you and you have regular like in-person updates. But yeah, I do virtual ones as well. And I try to like really base it based on people's goals. But if they had something like super far out there or wanted to do some kind of fad diet, I probably wouldn't work with them just because, you know, in order for me to be like the best coach possible, yes, I want to be able to like work with the client and give them what they want. But if they wanted to like follow some kind of fad diet, when I say fad diet, I don't mean macros. I don't even really mean keto, but like something, I guess like intermittent fasting. Like if a woman were to approach me about that just because like I've looked into like so much of like the negative effects of hormones. I don't know that like we would be a good fit. And for some people it works. Like I know people that like have seen really great results for it, but just like I just don't think that I would be the right coach for them, but I do offer it and I find a lot of joy in the clients that I do work with. So, yeah, I would say I actually don't really promote it that often. So it's interesting that you knew that. I have it, I'm pretty sure like in my link tree. But mostly like my clients just come from word of mouth. Uh, because it's one of those things too that like I can keep doing and sustain while I'm on the road. I don't necessarily like need to be here to keep up with clients in that aspect. But yeah, it's fun. I like to do a bunch of different stuff. I also do like media for this guy that works in finance that, used to be a member at my affiliate. So I have my hand in like some random, not even random because like content is content. Doesn't really matter what the topic is. Like if you're passionate about content, like you can do a good job. But yeah, some other things outside of like this that I play around with. And I actually had a phone call today with a local person. So if you guys have been to my website or ordered merch from me, I'm actually going to be taking full ownership of packaging and distributing my own merch. I'm going to work with a local team here in like the central New York, like Syracuse, Utica, Clinton area. So that I can go in person, I can feel the materials. I can maybe get some like fun behind the scenes content of things that are being made because I really do want to do more merch. But the problem is, Sherpa Works, which are amazing. I love Ken and Amy, great people, but they are taking on some much bigger clients than myself. So just when it comes to like turnaround time and like the profit for them for a client like me versus like Northern Spirit who did like all their game stuff, it just doesn't make sense for them, which is totally fine. But yeah, so now moving forward when we do our next merch launch, which hopefully will be the Wadapalooza merch. I already have the design and everything. We've just been trying to find a local brand that I can work with. I will be the one writing all of you lovely people handwritten love notes, because notes are my love language. When a brand puts a little handwritten note, like, oh, I am definitely going to be a return customer. So I want to give that to you guys, and I might throw some extra fun like things from my sponsors every now and then. So that could be something cool to look forward to. But yeah, so I had a call with them. I should have a meeting next week. Chad helps me with my designs. If you guys know Chad, tall Chad Mueller. He's excellent. He does a ton of graphics. He did them for Wadapalooza SoCal. He's done them for Brian at Be Friendly. He's done them for like a lot of different like people and athletes and whatnot in the space. So I'm really excited to do that. And that's going to be one of our new ventures. It has now approached an hour, and it's time for me to go watch another episode of Yellowstone and make some dinner for myself. But it's good to be back. It's good to catch up with everybody on here. What I'm also going to be doing, since like on my own personal YouTube channel, the channel that you guys are on right now, I do want to do I want to get more insight from y'all when it comes to like guests that I have on. So like I said, Simply Mander is going to launch on Monday, and then after that the owners of Tactical Games, their segment will come out. I'm interviewing them tomorrow on Thursday, so I'll probably put a quick little like, hey, what are some questions you guys want me to ask them? That way I can get your feedback and get your insight when I'm having like some of these guests on. But again, thank you guys so much for your support. Like, subscribe to the channel. I know this is a more like intimate conversation versus like some of my other content that I put out there. But if you like the channel, send it to a friend. It helps the channel. It helps me keep doing what I love. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you guys next time.